Now, what is your daily life like?
So we pray the Divine Office, the Liturgy of the Hours, which is what monks. So we're considered what's called canons regular. Norbertines are canons regular, and
what does that mean?
It's basically just a priest monk.
Okay.
So we live a very deep contemplative prayer life and a monastic monk-like life, but we also live an active apostolate, so active priestly lives. But that's when we're ordained. As seminarians, it's much more monastic than it is apostolic.
Okay, so your life now is not exactly what it's going to be like.
Right, exactly. So we pray all the hours of the office in community, in choir every day. So that's 7 times a day. We gather today to chant Gregorian chant, the Psalms.
Wow.
We sing the praises of God in Latin and in English.
Wow.
We have Holy Mass together every single day, Holy Hour, Rosary, and communal meals. I mean, our whole life is in common. It's in community, because what St. Norbert realized is that it's not good for priests to be alone. Just as God said from the beginning, it is not good for man to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
But especially when you have the heaviest burden that a man can have, which is to celebrate and administer the sacred mysteries. That's the greatest thing a man can do with his life, to offer the holy sacrifice of the Mass. And we need our brothers to help us to grow in holiness, to avoid sin, to, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And it's so true. So I'm very, very grateful that our community takes our communal life so seriously. That doesn't mean it's easy, because community, friction creates fire, you know.
You've got different personalities.
Right.
It's always going to...
It's always going to be like that. Even when you're surrounded by people I've noticed this, I'm never going to be the smartest or the holiest man in the room. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
So that's your life right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you're ordained, then how does it change?
It'll be a more so instead of having classes from like 9 a.m. to noon, or, things in the afternoon, studying, reading, that kind of thing, that's where the priestly work will happen. I'll be going out to, most likely, to parishes or to hear confessions, say Mass, give retreats, missions, or whatever it is that the community asks.
So you're living a student life right now,
yes,
pretty much.
Yeah, a student,
How many classes do you take?
So in our philosophy program, we take philosophy, which includes everything from logic to the study of the soul to ethics and the physics and metaphysics, and that's a 2-year program, and pretty much just reading Aristotle and St. Thomas.
Mm.
And then we have a history of philosophy class where we basically cover, we probably have read like 100 philosophers, only the original writings from them, which is difficult because some of them don't make any sense, especially as you get more modern,
So it's not just Catholic philosophers, but also...
Oh, yeah. Total atheists, pagans, hedonists.
Study all of that.
We study all of it because we want to understand, why are we in the place that we're at philosophically right now? And I had no idea the reasons why our culture is the way that it is. I mean, a way to think about it is, as Andrew Breitbart once said, politics is downstream from culture. But adding on to that a little bit, culture is downstream from philosophy. So in other words, the philosophy that we have affects the culture that we have. The culture that we have affects the politics that we have. And we see that. The reason why we have such a messed up culture is because we have such messed up philosophy. We have such a perverse understanding of the human person. So, which is why it's beautiful that I've studied the human person through Aristotle and St. Thomas, the nature of the soul, how the soul is united with the body, how things actually work, ethics, and why certain things, what are the principles of moral actions? What makes something right? What makes something wrong? How can you decipher between these things? All of that. I mean, I'm confident that there's not a better intellectual formation in the church than we have at St. Michael's Abbey.
Because you're going all the way down to the roots of it.
We're going back to the authorities that the church has given us. But we're also going through, like I was saying, of the original writings of philosophers from the pre-Socratics all the way through Kant, Descartes, Hegel, these modern people, but also, and everybody in between.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
and then the other class that we take is Latin. So we take Latin very seriously in our community. And as our formation director said, he said, I want you to learn Latin as well as you know English. So
are you able to like converse and have everyday conversations in Latin?
I'm not, but we have a handful of men who can in our
Wow.
community. Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So right now you're just pretty much a sponge right now.
I'm a sponge that is kind of at capacity. So I'm glad I'm a sponge that's leaking water everywhere. Yeah.
So this 3 weeks of being out is just a good.
It's very refreshing. I got to let the sponge settle.